Welcome to Gregsbeerreviews today. Let's take a walk and go see what's in the fridge today. Hello everybody, thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews today. Hopefully this is going to be a treat, but you never know with the pumpkin beers. I mean, they vary from one end of the spectrum to the other, depending on what you like and what you don't like in a pumpkin beer, whether you like that stale buttery popcorn type like Pumpkin is to me, or you like something more like a Shapley or a Dogfish Head pumpkin beer. The taste on pumpkin beers varies from one end to the other, and from what I've read, it's the same is true for this. Some people love this beer, and some people did not like it at all. I'm hoping I'm one of them that does like it. This was sent to me by Parrish. Thanks again, brother. I have 3 great beer subscribers out in California: Leandro, Parrish, and Donovan owns Serval Liquors. I get some very tasty beers from those 3 guys out there, so they have a great taste as far as good beers, what good beers are, and send me a pretty nice selection of some tasty beers from California, and I do get some. There are some beers that come to California that I've been sent from those guys that it's not available here in Virginia. So if you're in New York or Philadelphia or California, those states seem to get a lot of beers sent to them that the other states don't get. So, it is what it is. The beer distribution sucks in this country. But it is what it is. I mean, that's just the way the ball bounces in the craft beer industry. So, let's get on with this one, guys. This is the Anderson Valley Pinchy Jeek Barl, and what that is it's basically an imperial pumpkin ale that's aged in bourbon barrel. Let me look on the bottle here. It says bourbon barrel pumpkin ale malt beverage brewed with pumpkin and spices and aged in wild turkey bourbon barrels, coming in at 8.5% alcohol by volume. And I'm a big fan of Anderson Valley. I mean, I like a lot of stuff that they do, so I'm hoping this is going to be a big treat. So we're going to find out. Like I said, there's a lot of people, like I said, that just think Pumpkin from Southern Tier is the best thing since sliced bread, and I am not in that crowd. I mean, it just tastes like stale buttery popcorn to me. I honestly think that their Warlock is a better beer than the Pumpkin, but just my opinion, and beer taste is subjective. What I may love, you may hate, and vice versa. So that's just the way it is. Depends on what stage your palate is in at the time and what you like or you're seeking out in a beer. That's just the bottom line, guys. So we can't all, whatever, like I said, what I may love, you may not, and vice versa. The commercial description is the same as what it says on there: malt beverage beer with pumpkin spices and aged in bourbon barrels. It does not have the IBUs on this beer, so I do not know what that is. So let's go over to the food pairings, and it says general, digestive, meat, poultry. A lot of these type beers, especially like black IPAs and stuff, they're not technically a style. So pumpkin beers, I think a lot of them are considered lagers. It says pumpkin ale, often released in the fall season. The pumpkin ales are quite varied. Some brewers opt to add hand-cut pumpkins and drop them in the mash, while others use puree or pumpkin flavoring. These beers also tend to be spiced with pumpkin pie spices like ground ginger, nutmeg, cloves, cinnamon, and allspice. Same stuff that Grandma puts in her pumpkin pie. Pumpkin ales are typically mild, with little to no bitterness, a malty backbone with some spice often taking the lead. Many will contain a starchy, slight thickish mouthfeel too. In our opinion, best versions use real pumpkin, and I would not argue with that, while roasting the pumpkin can also add tremendous depth and character for even better results. Though both methods are time-consuming and tend to drive brewmasters insane, and a lot of times it will drive the price up, especially if it's been aged in a bourbon barrel. A lot of people don't realize that, and you see a beer and it's $12, $15, $20 for a 22 ounce, and they go, well, I ain't paying that. You got to realize, if they're aging these in bourbon barrels or any kind of barrel aging, that goes into that barrel after where it normally would be bottled, and it sets, and it takes up space for however long they determine they're going to age it. 3 months, 6 months, a year. And that's just taking up space. And they got to pay rent on that space. And that drives the cost up. So that's why some of these bourbon barrel aged beers, whether it's pumpkin or stout or whatever, are a little more pricier than what a standard 22 ounce off the shelf regular beer is. You got to realize the time and the space takes money, and that's why they're a little more expensive. But when you start getting up over $30 for a 22 ouncer, you can carry that to the extreme. So I mean, there's a select crowd that's going to pay $30 or more for a 22 ounce bottle of beer. So you narrow down your customers by doing that. I mean, your average Joe, they want to pay $5.99, $6.99 for a 22 ouncer, and when you say, "Well, this is $28," they're just going to say, "No thanks." So you limit your market when you do bourbon barrel age a beer. So with that being said, let's get on with this one, guys. I'll give you everything. Food pairings. We've gone through glassware, pint, becker, non tumbler. I'm going to put this in a double glass so I can enhance those aromas just a little bit since it's bourbon barrel aged. And it's not recommended for extended cellaring. Being an 8%er, 8.5%, it's going to keep a little while. And in bourbon barrel age, I'd say this beer will probably keep 5 years or even longer. But I don't know what you're going to lose by doing that. I don't know what's going to fade away over time. So something like this, unless it's super boozy, I want to drink it fresh. So Parrish, thanks again, brother, for sending me this beer. Let's get it in the glass. This is a bomber, so I am going to share some of it. Nice hit on this beer. And I can get some of the Anderson Valley beers here, but I have not seen this one, or not had this one either. And I've done a few pumpkin beers over the 4+ years I've been doing beer reviews. Nice carbonation on this beer. Very nice. Look at that. Very nice. About 2.5 fingers of head, and I'm getting the bourbon already. Wow. Over to the light, it is a rich ruby red color. I can see the bulb through it. It's not cloudy. Nice carbonation on that beer with that aggressive pour. I really don't expect it to stick around a long time, but I may be surprised. We're down to 2 fingers of head already, so let's get a nose on this one. It has a big buttery smell along with the bourbon. I am hoping that it's not going to taste like pumpkin. And other people are saying, well, I'm hoping it is going to taste like pumpkin because I love pumpkin. Tastes are subjective, guys. I mean, it is. Especially in this particular style of beer. Especially in a pumpkin beer. I've had some, you can set 10 people down along the bar and serve them 5 different pumpkin beers, and you're going to get such a varied result from that it would blow your mind. So I'm getting a butteriness, I'm getting the allspice, I'm getting the cinnamon, I'm getting the nutmeg, I'm getting ginger. But the bourbon and the buttery smell is standing out, especially the buttery smell. And that was the biggest problem I had with the pumpkin. It just tasted like stale buttery popcorn to me, where other people I just love it to death. Well, let's give it a taste. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Parrish. Thank you, sir. I do appreciate it. That is nice. The butteriness is not overwhelming everything else like it does to me in pumpkin. I'm getting the rest of the spices in there, and I'm getting this fine. The bourbon is not overwhelming. It's there. You can smell it, and you can taste it, but it's not overpowering everything else. I'm not getting any alcohol. 8.5%. It's not too bad. It's not bad at all. For an imperial pumpkin ale, I don't think it's in the outstanding world-class category, but it tastes pretty good. Look at the lacing it's leaving on the glass. That's pretty tasty. We're going to let it warm up. It's right out of the fridge, guys, like I always do. Share the other half of this bottle and come back and see where this one ends up. Like I said, don't think it's a 10, but I think it's definitely above average beer. Let's see where it ends up. I'll be right back. Hi guys, I'm back. Been sipping on this for, I don't know, probably 35-40 minutes. It's very tasty. I don't think it's quite, to me, just my opinion, to the A category. Nice pumpkin spices in there. There is the hint of the bourbon. And I'm not getting any of the alcohol. It doesn't have a date on the bottle, so I'm just presuming this year's edition, but it would be nice to have at least a year somewhere on this, being an 8.5%er, but kind of like to drink these pumpkin beers as fresh as possible, and it has no dating on it, so I would probably, if it had a date on it, I would probably give it the A-, but there is no dating on the bottle at all, so let's do the final chug. Not bad. Definitely way above average, but to me, not quite to the A category because there's no date on the bottle. And I was under the assumption that they dated all their stuff, so kind of disappointed with Anderson Valley for not having at least a year on this or a bottling date somewhere on the bottle. So it is what it is. A nice buttery ginger, nutmeg, allspice, cinnamon, with a hint of the bourbon in there, and like I said, it's not overly sweet. There is a buttery taste to it, but I didn't find it overly buttery like a pumpkin is to me. But like I said, I was on the fence there between a B+ and A-, and if it had a date on it or a year, I would probably give it the A-. But we're going to give it the B+, which is the 7. That's how I feel about it, guys. If you've had this, let me know what you think of it. Let's see what everybody else thinks. Over to Beer Advocate. Beer Advocate's not too kind. They say 78, which is okay. I think it's a tad better than that. If I was putting a numeric rating on it, it would probably be a 87 or an 88, somewhere in that area right there. I enjoyed it though. It was a pleasant. And like I said earlier, I mean, either pumpkin beers, either you like it or you don't like it. And some are just a little bit better than others, but the beer taste, and especially in pumpkin beers, is very subjective. So, over to Rate Beer. Rate Beer says 88 overall, and that's about where I would put it, but they say 95 in the style. So as far as a bourbon barrel aged pumpkin, it's getting 95 in the style. So and they average these ratings and reviews out to get these numbers, guys. So I think it's around the 88 as far as I'm concerned. But I enjoyed it nonetheless. If you've got a chance to pick it up, give it a try, see what you think of it. And if you've had it, let me know what you think. Parrish, thanks again, brother, for sending it to me. I did enjoy it. Guys, let me know what you think. And let's go see what's in the fridge tomorrow. See you then.